Hello and welcome to Warlock Wednesday. This is your host Ray. This is my first podcast, so I'm hoping that everything goes well. This is going to be a hodgepodge of things that I'm interested in, things that you might be interested in. I'm going to go over some stats, some movie news, some comic book news, and we're just going to jump right in here and look at the weekend box office. So number one this week was Skyfall, made another $10.7 million, followed by Rise of the Guardians at 10.4, and that fucking movie Twilight in at third at 9.1. Now, this is actually good news in a way because it was number one last week and now dropped to third. Rounding out the top 10, we have Lincoln, Life of Pi, the new release Playing for Keeps, Wreck-It Ralph, Red Dawn sitting at 8th, Flight, and Killing Them Softly. Now, Killing Them Softly made only $7 million in its opening weekend, and not a good movie for Brad Pitt. It's probably his worst movie opening ever. $2 million this weekend, well, 2.8, so just under 3, bringing its total to just under $12 million. The top three, Skyfall, Rise of the Guardians, and Twilight, all raked in just over $30 million this weekend, making it a good weekend overall. Skyfall, I'm proud to say, is beating Twilight, even though it has been out longer than Twilight. You can see the drop-off in percentages that accommodate this, and we're just going to look at that now. And Skyfall increased its percentage 28.5% over last weekend, whereas Twilight was actually down. So that just goes to show that people are smart. The Twilight geeks, the Twitards as I like to call them, went and saw their movie opening weekend, and from there the decline was huge. If we look at opening weekend for Twilight, it dropped 69% between week 1 and week 2. Now, it did hold top spot for those first 3 weeks that it was released, but when we look at Skyfall's weekend's releases, it dropped 50% in the second weekend, but gradually that percentage went down, stayed second for the 3 weeks that Twilight was number one the week before Twilight, and then jumped back into number one, proving that there are much smarter people out there than we would anticipate. Now, I also attribute this to the lack of, shall we say, blockbuster movies that have come out in the last couple of weeks, with Killing Them Softly last week and Playing for Keeps this week, a romantic comedy that, while has its fans and detractors alike, Skyfall, best Bond movie of all time in my opinion. No offense to Sir Sean Connery. Sir Sean Connery is my favorite James Bond, but let's face it, Skyfall is the new and improved, and it's succeeding in the box office. Rise of the Guardians, which was number 2 this week, is doing fairly well. It had a increase. It opened in 4th place when it opened 3 weeks ago, and dropped 43% to move up into 3rd place, and then this week made over 10 million and moved up into 2nd place. So it gradually climbed the charts and pushed Twilight into 3rd. So personally, I'm happy about that. Moving on, we have some news from the movie world, and first thing I want to mention is that we have a new picture from Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, I'm a big Trekkie, and I'm looking forward to this film next May. May 17th is that release. It's opening in 2D, 3D, and IMAX 3D. Obviously, near where I'm going to see it, I will be seeing it in 2D, maybe 3D. I'm not a big fan of 3D, can't stand it that often, so I try not to watch movies in 3D unless it's absolutely necessary. So anyways, a new picture was released this week. In the picture we have Zachary Quinto, who's playing Spock, of course, and then Chris Pine, who's playing Kirk, of course. Also in this picture is the new villain, Mr. Cumberbatch, and let the Twitter world and the internet world speculate as to who Benedict Cumberbatch is playing. For those of you who don't know, Benedict Cumberbatch played Sherlock in the BBC series Sherlock, and has done a great job there. I am enjoying that as I catch up on the 6 episodes that are now out of that show. But the speculation is that he's Khan. Personally, I do not think this is correct. I think he's some other villain. The villain name they list with the picture was John Harrison. Now, ComingSoon.net speculates, and I tend to agree, that this may be a decoy name, that Mr. Abrams is not going to reveal who Benedict Cumberbatch is until the movie comes out. Now, I don't want to know too much about this movie, but doing a podcast like this, you got to get some information. So, the picture's on the web. You can see it. Benedict Cumberbatch looks like he's in some kind of holding cell on the Enterprise, and he looks like he's wearing a black Starfleet uniform. So let the speculations begin as to who he might actually be, or let the speculations continue, rather, because there's a lot of Khan fanatics out there that are hoping that he's Khan. Continuing with Star Trek Into Darkness, for those of you who have an IMAX showing The Hobbit in 3D IMAX, there is to be a 9-minute Star Trek Into Darkness prologue. This is something I personally do not want to see. I do not want to see the first 9 minutes of the movie and then have to wait 5 months to see the movie. However, for those of you interested, it will be on the IMAX version of Hobbit 3D only. So for those of you that would like to see the first 9 minutes of Star Trek Into Darkness, go and find the nearest IMAX theater showing Hobbit 3D, and you can do that. Moving on in TV news, actually, the show The Saint, which is an old British television series that actually launched the career of Roger Moore, could be heading back to television. Now, the two people slated to star in it are Eliza Dushku, who played in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Dollhouse, two shows I enjoyed very much, and Adam Rainier, who played in The Haunted and Hawthorne. They're both slated to star in this pilot, with Roger Moore co-producing. So the original show ran from 62 to 69, and the new Saint is based on the novels of Leslie Charteris. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what I'm reading. And the character of Simon Templar, first introduced in 1928, means tiger. The write-up here says Templar, a mysterious thief turned vigilante hero, will be played by Raynor, with Dushku taking on the part of love interest Patricia Holm, who appeared in the books but not in the original show. Simon West is attached to direct the pilot, with Jesse Alexander providing the screenplay. This, for me, is only interesting in the fact that Eliza Dushku will be back on television again. She was great in Buffy. She only had a small role. She was only on there for a few episodes, but it was a great thing for her that led to some movie roles. And then Dollhouse, which I absolutely love, from the great mind of Joss Whedon, who, of course, we all know brought us the excellent movie The Avengers. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do in another television revisiting, and perhaps she'll amaze again, or it could be a flop. Back to movie news. Martin Sheen is going to be back as Uncle Ben in the Amazing Spider-Man sequel. This says to me we're seeing a flashback, because we do know that Uncle Ben is dead, and bringing him back in any other way other than a flashback would just be wrong. This casting makes sense, because there should probably be more with Uncle Ben in a flashback, since we are going to probably be delving into Peter's past a little bit. If any one of you saw the ending of The Amazing Spider-Man, there's a little snippet where Lizard's in the cell and he's visited by an unknown person who's been speculated to be any number of villains. And he mentioned, well, did you tell him about his father? Which means we should see some flashbacks. So the sequel has a pretty stellar lineup so far. We've got Shailene Woodley, who's been added as MJ Watson. We've got Jamie Foxx, who's going to be playing Electro. Dane DeHaan, if anybody has seen the movie... Oh, I can't even think of the name of it right now. Oh, that's going to bug me. Anyways, Dane DeHaan, he's playing Harry. And we're also going to have Martin Sheen back as Peter Parker. Peter Parker's Uncle Ben, not Peter Parker. We all know Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone will be playing Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, respectively. So, that's something definitely to look forward to when Amazing Spider-Man 2 hits screens in 2014. And one other note for you True Blood fans out there, Robert Patrick is coming back for the next season of True Blood. He has signed on as a series regular to play Alcide, Joe Manganiello. I cannot pronounce his last name for the life of me. Alcide's father. The character was in 3 of the last 4 episodes last season. He is currently playing in Last Resort, but the network's not producing any more episodes past the 13th, so he is able to join the crew for True Blood. Moving on to comic news, I'm going to get briefly... Now, there's so many comics coming out this Wednesday that I'm going to give you the top 2 companies, DC, Marvel. I'm going to give you some listings there that interest me, and then I'm going to give you my top 5 independents. So, from the DC universe, we have 4 comics related to the Death of the Family series, which I'm enjoying very much. It's the Return of the Joker to the New 52. For any of you who've been paying attention, the New 52 kind of rebooted the entire DC universe. Now, they've kind of retconned all the information. Like, we got first appearance of Superman now being in Superman #1 as opposed to Action Comics #15. We've got so many changes. The one series that I'm really enjoying is Batgirl, and while they've retconned it, there is still allusions to the fact that she was paralyzed by the Joker, but she went through a surgical procedure, a experimental one, that actually made her no longer paralyzed. So she's donned the cape and cowl again, she's now Batgirl, so that's one series I'm enjoying. Now, Death of the Family is the first big, huge thing that DC's doing with the Return of the Joker. So this week, coming out on Wednesday the 12th, we have Batman #15, Batgirl #15, Batman and Robin #15, and Suicide Squad #15, which is all going to incorporate the Death of the Family storyline. 3 other titles that are coming out this week that are kind of interesting right now are Superboy #15, Deathstroke 15, and Demon Knights 15. So those are DC titles. On to the Marvel. We've got the second last issue ever of Amazing Spider-Man, number 699. When they get to issue 700, that is it. Amazing Spider-Man is finished. They're going to be starting into the Spider-Man Now series of things that Marvel's doing. That's their big thing right now, is Marvel Now. And Amazing Spider-Man is ending. 700 issues, but 699 comes out this Wednesday. Also coming out this Wednesday from Marvel, Avengers Arena #1, Avengers Assemble #10, Cable and X-Force #1, Fantastic Four #2, and Iron Man #4, all part of the Marvel Now series. And also just going to throw in there, because he's my favorite Marvel character, probably my favorite comic book character of all time, Wolverine #317 comes out this week, and I'm looking forward to reading that. So my top 5 independents coming out this week. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 9, issue number 16 coming out. From IDW Publishing, we've got 3 titles that I'm interested in. G.I. Joe #20, Ghostbusters #16, TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you prefer, #17. From Image Comics, and I know there's a lot of Walking Dead fans out there, Walking Dead #105. Other comic news, sad day, and here's going to be my rant. DC, I don't know what to say about DC. A lot of people are hating the reboot, the New 52. The books aren't selling very well. A lot of the titles are not succeeding as well as they had hoped. There's a lot of speculation that they may even reboot the reboot. Personally, I think that's bullshit. Let's just call it bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. I personally don't see that happening, because they've sunk so much money into this. They're going to at least run with this New 52 for quite some time. However, Batgirl, the one comic that I am enjoying of the New 52, they fired Gail Simone. Now, for those of you who don't know, Gail Simone has been writing Batgirl for a while now. She's done every issue of the New 52. She's an excellent writer. She knows Barbara Gordon / Batgirl so well. I've been enjoying it. And you know how they fired her? They sent her an email. That's right, folks, a fucking email. They didn't call her into the office. They didn't tell her that she wasn't going to be writing the issue anymore in person. No, they sent her an email. That's like fucking calling your boyfriend or girlfriend and breaking up with them over the phone, or worse, leaving a message. Can you imagine coming home one day, picking up the phone, dialing, and retrieving your messages, or your cell phone, retrieving a message and finding out that your significant other has just broken up with you. That's basically what they did. They sent her an email saying you're fired from Batgirl. That's not to say that she's not going to be writing again, but what a bullshit move by DC. First of all, she's writing the greatest comic that the New 52 has, and now they fired her. So I'm just going to look into this a little bit more. Okay, it's a story we've been exploring for the past week. This is from bleedingcool.com. It's a story we've been following this week. Gail Simone off of Batgirl, the DC New 52 title most associated with one creator more than any other. Today, Gail confirmed the news. The response from her peers was instant. And there's a slew of people, not so much bashing DC as I would, but some of them are, but in support of Gail and her plight. Just going on to her own Tumblr, Gail Simone wrote, basically saying she's thankful for her fans. She loves the fact that so many people are still supporting her. She's sad. Like let's face it, she's kind of been Barbara Gordon / Batgirl for such a long time now that it's unfathomable that she's not going to be doing anymore. Just of note, her last issue will be issue 16, which will be wrapping up that series' continuity of Death of the Family. So she will be finishing out Death of the Family. So she's got the issue that's coming out this Wednesday, Batgirl number 15, rather, and then the issue that'll be coming out in January for Batgirl number 16, and then her run is done. In her little blog here, she says, very few writers are ever lucky enough to get to work in the Bat offices. It's a rare honor and a thrill, and I absolutely loved it and will miss it terribly. I'm probably sounding a little bit muddled right now, as I feel a genuine sense of loss. This wasn't just another assignment to me. When this was announced just a little while ago on bleedingcool.com, I confirmed it, and when I came back, my Twitter feed was completely flooded by incredible words. So while I am very sad right now, I won't deny it. I have to say, I'm sure this sounds corny, but I feel very, very fortunate. She goes on to say, you guys have no idea, no conception at all how much you mean to me. The support on Twitter in the past hour has almost more than I could take. I had to stop reading because I was getting too choked up. You guys have supported me and said kind things when I was low, and you let me know that fighting for things to get better was important and worth the effort. You made me laugh too many times to count, and you have added so much to my life I can't even explain it. Yes, I know this sounds corny, but it's true and I can't help it. I thought I was going to be just heartbroken giving this news, and I definitely am, but the support from you guys and from the pro community is something very, very special, and I will cherish it. You guys made a rotten week much, much more bearable. Thank you so, so much, and I wish the next team on Batgirl the very best of luck, Gail. I still say she's got to be back. Like, God, I can't believe DC would do this to, honestly, one of their best series going on in the New 52. It's pissing me right off. However, must continue on. Batgirl number 18 will be written by Ray Fox. He's joining the Batgirl universe. Now, the only thing is, there's nobody writing number 17 right now. So, here's the thing that here's the write-up I found. Intriguingly, this doesn't answer the question as to who's writing issue number 17. Gail's last issue is meant to be 16. But the rumor is that whoever is writing the fill-in issues will take over the book subsequently now that Gail has been fired from it. Ray Fox is an indie creator who, amongst other books, wrote and drew, I believe the article is written wrong. They need spell check. Wrote and drew One Soul, which I believe is one of the best comics of the century. This is the author of this article writing it, who I can't find, and I was looking for it. Oh, there it is. I just found it. How about that? Rich Johnson. So he believes One Soul was one of the best comics of the century. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's why I'm on here giving you mine. Batgirl will be an interesting jump. Will he be celebrated for his clear skills as a comic creator, or hung, drawn, and quartered and burnt like his namesake by the internet? Oh, go on. So, we know who's writing Batgirl after Gail has been fired, sort of. We know that Ray Fox will be taking over in issue number 18. Still waiting to see who will be writing issue number 17. It's definitely heartbreaking when you see a good writer like Gail Simone get fired for really no other reason than creative change. That's right, folks, creative change. A new editor came into the Bat offices and basically cleaned house. Now, this does happen in comics from time to time. You want to see new writers exploring new issues, new directions for the character. I mean, come on, we've had so many different writers for Batman and Superman and all the Marvel comics, the X-Men. Like, there's so many writers out there that have written for these iconic characters. Yet, for me, Batgirl will always be Gail Simone. So even though Ray Fox has some cred, for one, he's a guy. And yes, so am I. However, he's writing Batgirl. Batgirl is a heroine. She's a female character, strong female character. She's smart. She's strong. She was trained by Batman. Having Gail Simone write that, it was like she could put herself into it. She could do so much more. With Ray Fox, we're not sure what we're going to get. We're definitely going to see a new Batgirl, and I'm going to end my rant right there. So, that's comic news. I'm going to move on to a little bit of gaming news. That's right, I'm a gamer. I believe you heard it on another podcast on 2 weeks ago, Monday, so the 3rd, December 3rd. I'm a gamer. My game of choice is World of Warcraft, so I have to put this in. Right now, World of Warcraft is selling what they're calling a Cinder Kitten. A Cinder Kitten is a companion you get in the game. Adopt a Cinder Kitten today, now up for adoption in the pet store. The Cinder Kitten, a fiery little feline looking for a home to warm. Adopt this adorable rascal and you'll help bring relief to the victims of Superstorm Sandy in the process. From now until December 31st, 2012 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, folks, because this company is located on the West Coast, 100% of the $10 U.S. adoption fee will be donated to the American Red Cross's Superstorm Sandy relief efforts. This support will enable the Red Cross to provide shelter, food, emotional support, and other assistance to the victims of this disaster. So, for those of you that play World of Warcraft, buy this mount. I encourage you to buy this mount. It's $10 American, which really right now works out to almost $10 Canadian. I think there's a little US charge that they put in, so it's about $10.50 because our dollar is so strong right now. And every cent of that money goes to the Superstorm Sandy Relief Fund. And that's why I buy it. That's why every year Blizzard does this. They sell pet for companion, in-game companion, and they donate this money to charity. They do it every year, and every year I buy one of those pets where the money goes to charity. They've done it for Make-A-Wish Foundation. They've done it for, I believe it was multiple sclerosis one year. Research and development, and let's face it, when it goes to charity, $10, it's worth it. So if you play World of Warcraft at all, definitely get this pet before the end of the year, and every cent goes to the Superstorm Sandy relief efforts, and that is a good cause. Also in Blizzard news, coming out in March of 2013, March 12th to be exact, Heart of the Swarm arrives. Heart of the Swarm is going to be the StarCraft 2 expansion. It launches around the world, igniting an intergalactic storm of intense strategic combat and opening a savage new chapter in the war between Terran, Protoss, and Zerg. You can pre-purchase the expansion now through Battle.net and be ready to play the moment it goes live. In addition to the Standard Edition and retail-exclusive Collector's Edition packed with Collector's Edition, which is packed with bonus items, you can upgrade with a Deluxe Edition over the internet, and that comes equipped with all the in-game content from the physical Collector's Edition, including a Terrask skin for your Zerg, Ultralisks in Heart of the Swarm, multiplayer, unique swarm-infested portraits of your StarCraft 2 character profile, and so much more. You even get this, a Banling pet for your World of Warcraft characters, and a set of Zergified Blade Wings for your heroes in Diablo 3. So you buy this Deluxe Digital Edition, and you get so much more. So if you're playing StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, go to Battle.net, log into your account, order the Digital Deluxe Edition, and you get so much more than just for StarCraft 2. Now, this past weekend, Friday exactly, there was a little thing called the Video Game Awards. So we're just going to take a look at some of the top things that happen, the winners of these video game awards. No, I'm not going to do Game of the Year. Let's do Game of the Year last. Alright, so let's see. What do you want to know? Well, let's go with most anticipated game coming out next year, Grand Theft Auto 5. That's right, that was voted most anticipated game. Most downloadable game, Walking Dead the game. That's right. For all you Walking Dead fans out there, you've downloaded this game so much, it was the most downloadable game. I'm going to go into, let's see, best team sports game, NBA 2K13. I was a little surprised at that. Usually Madden or NHL are right up there. We know what's going on with the NHL right now has probably lowered that one. But Madden's usually up there. But this year, no, NBA 2K13 took best team sport. Best individual sports went to SSX. Best multiplayer game, Borderlands 2. Best RPG, Mass Effect 3. Best action-adventure game, Dishonored. Best shooter, Borderlands 2. Best PC game, XCOM Enemy Unknown. Best Wii or Wii U game, New Super Mario Bros. U, which to me sounds a little fishy since it just came out, but hey, I didn't vote, not my call. Best PS3 game, Journey, a little downloadable game from the PlayStation Network, for those of you who don't know what PSN is, because some of you might be Xbox 360 gamers, and that one, best game for Xbox 360, Halo 4. Studio of the Year, Telltale Games, which made Game of the Year, The Walking Dead, the game. That's right, so all you Walking Dead fans, not only did it become the most downloadable game, or best downloadable game, it is Game of the Year. The Walking Dead, the game, Game of the Year. That's excellent for Telltale Games as they get to move on. Other gaming news, I'm going to give you top 3 games for each major platform. We're going to go with PC first, and top 3 are Far Cry 3, PlanetSide 2, and Forge. And 3 of these games just came out within the last few weeks. Far Cry 3 and Forge both came out in December 4th, and PlanetSide 2, that came out November 20th, so that's about 4 weeks ago. We're past that one, but those are the top 3 PC games. Your top 3 for Xbox 360, Far Cry 3, which is a cross-platform game, Skyrim, Dragonborn, and Halo 4. Halo 4 dropped down to 3rd because of the expansion for Skyrim, I believe. I think that probably would have sat in number 2. The best Wii and Wii U games, top 3, Zombie U, Wii U Basic Set, and New Super Mario Bros. U. So all the Wii U games are kind of climbing up the charts there. And as we move on to PlayStation 3, we got Far Cry 3, like I said, cross-platform game. EX Troopers, number 2. And in number 3, one of my favorite games, Assassin's Creed 3. And that's it for gaming news. So, moving on, I want to talk about sports. That's right, I said sports. I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, this is Warlock Wednesdays, but I'm also a sports fan. So, first sport I'm going to talk about is football. Right now, we're looking at the standings. So, we got the AFC East, New England Patriots, of course, have won the East once again. They are playing right now as I speak, because I'm recording this on Monday, and the Monday night game is definitely going the Patriots' way, so another win for them, it looks like, and they have clinched the AFC East and will probably finish second in the East, depending on how Houston finishes out the season. They're battling for first and second spot, but either way, they're probably both going to have that first round bye, which is always important. The other thing that's important is home field advantage, which both can still do. In the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens are 2 games up on the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Houston Texans are leading the AFC South and probably can clinch that very soon, actually. They won't win tonight. They won't win Monday night, but they can definitely clinch it with one more win or an Indianapolis loss. That will clinch them the AFC South. Denver Broncos are leading the West and probably the only team getting into the playoffs from the West. Just for a note, the Denver Broncos are my pick to win the Super Bowl. Moving on to the NFC now, we see that the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins and Dallas Cowboys are all battling for that NFC East title. However, it's hard to bet against the New York Giants at this time of year. I really would like to see the Washington Redskins win the East. In the North, we got the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears battling up for top spot there. Minnesota not too far behind. They need some wins, though, if they're going to do anything with it. Green Bay currently leading that with 9 wins and 4 losses. The NFC South, they've clinched the division. They are the Atlanta Falcons. Tampa Bay started off the season strong. They're now kind of stumbling underneath 500 at 6-7. New Orleans Saints are going to miss the playoffs this year, and I'm a little shocked, but at the same time, let's face it, we do have no coach, no players. They're playing poorly. They're losing games when they should be winning games. It's when you look at the overall picture, it's not a surprise that they've missed the playoffs this year. But Atlanta Falcons looking strong. They are 11-2. They're the top seed right now in the in the NFC. Period, not just the NFC South. They are the top seed in the NFC. Looking at the NFC West, a little bit murkier for the top spot in the NFC West. We got the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks battling it out there. San Francisco currently holds down that NFC West spot, but that could change easily. And if we go to overall standings, we've got the Houston Texans, the Denver Broncos, and the New England Patriots sitting atop the AFC. Now remember, folks, only 6 teams get in. So you have, 6 teams get in. So wildcard teams right now, the Colts and the Steelers. However, the Steelers are battling the Ravens and the Bengals, as we already know, for that title in the AFC division race. And the Colts could win not only their division, but they'd have a tough time beating the Texans, but they could win the division, and they're doing this with rookie quarterback Andrew Luck. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts are all going to probably be sitting at 9-4. Oh, I'm sorry. Patriots are winning. God, I hate the Patriots. Alright, Patriots are winning, so they'll be at 10-3. They'll be sitting there with the Denver Broncos, and Baltimore and Indianapolis will be sitting at 9-4. So our wildcard teams, Indianapolis Colts, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to have to do a little bit to hold on to those spots. Cincinnati Bengals are nipping at the heels of the Steelers, and New York Jets, even with the troubles with the quarterback, they're right there at 6-7. I don't think they're going to make it in. I think the Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, New England Patriots are your top 3. After that, I can see the Baltimore Ravens, the Colts, and the Steelers. I think it's pretty much going to be status quo. Cincinnati has the best chance of knocking one of those teams out to get into the wild card in the AFC. As we turn our focus to the NFC, we got only the Atlanta Falcons who've clinched. After that, it is a logjam from there on down. The San Francisco 49ers at 9-3-1 because they have a tie. Yes, a tie in football. The Green Bay Packers are at 9-4. And then we've got the New York Giants falling behind them at 8-5 with the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. Now that rounds out your top 6, but fighting for those wild card spots are the Washington Redskins, the Dallas Cowboys, the Minnesota Vikings. And let's face it, it's so jammed up at that bottom. It's not really clear who's going to be in other than the Atlanta Falcons. Now, looking at this and looking at the schedules coming up, I think your top 2 teams are probably going to be the Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers. I did say the Packers, not the 49ers. I think the 49ers could slip down to that 3rd spot. Now, that's not to say that they won't, or that they will, but I just see the Packers having a better time of it in the next little while, and the 49ers probably dropping a game or 2, pushing them into 3rd. New York Giants and Washington Redskins are battling it out in the NFC East, along with the Cowboys. Can't dismiss the Cowboys. They are actually right there, which is surprising considering how badly they've played this year. Now, I'm predicting Washington might overtake the Giants. However, this time of year is always Giants football. So let's say the Giants get into that spot. I think Chicago's going to drop out, and your top 6 are going to be the Atlanta Falcons, the Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers, the New York Giants, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Washington Redskins. And that will be your NFC playoff picture. And that's what I'm saying right now. Also in NFL news, for those of you Washington fans, RG3 this past weekend had a sprained knee and actually left the game and was not there in the final seconds, in the final minutes of the game where they came back to win against Baltimore. And after an MRI on Monday, it looks as though it's just a slight knee sprain to the, oh god, I gotta say this, lateral collateral ligament, the LCL, which is on the outside of the knee, and it's a grade 1 sprain, which means he's going to be limited in practice this week, and will be a game time decision, I'm guessing. Injury reports usually come out on Thursday or Friday, so he could play, but Coach Mike Shanahan said that other rookie quarterback Kirk Cousins could get the start this week against the Browns, and let's face it, they still are the Cleveland Browns no matter how much progress they made, so maybe it would be nice to just give RG3 the week off, let him heal that knee, and then move on. In other football news, and when I say other football, I mean soccer. Soccer news, I'm a Manchester United fan, and they beat Man City this past weekend, and that is huge because it leaves them alone on the Barclays Premier League, top of the standings with 39 points, and that makes them 6 points ahead of Man City, and 10 points ahead of Chelsea, and 13 over Everton. Those are your top 4 teams in the Barclays Premier League. Manchester United is number 1 at the moment, and that's just where I hope it stays. Now it's time to talk NHL. NHL still on the lockout. That's right, folks. They're still locked out. No NHL this year. No NHL next year. I mean, let's face it. They can't agree on anything. They can't even get in the same room and talk. So today means another day of no hockey, and actually there'll be no NHL hockey this year because as of Monday, the National Hockey League announced the cancellation of the 2012-2013 regular season through December 30th. These cancellations are necessary due to the absence of a new collective bargaining agreement between the NHLPA and the NHL. A total of 526 regular season games, that's 42.8% of the season, were scheduled from October 11th through December 30th, and that is now gone, kaput, and no more. However, what I do have to report is the National Hockey League and the NHLPA are working at getting back to the bargaining table, according to NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly. The two sides have not met since 3 days of negotiations last week ended on Thursday, which we all know ended with, no, we're not accepting your proposal, we're just going to walk out and blame everybody else. So, they're trying to set something up for later this week. Nothing's finalized yet. Daly says that they're trying to work out probably a Wednesday or Thursday set up, but we have to see. And, they met for 20 hours during sessions last week, and in New York before they broke off Thursday. And the NHL and NHLPA have been without a CBA since September 16th. And not only are we losing all the games up until December 30th, we've already lost the Winter Classic and the All-Star Games. So, at best, we are going to see a probably 50-game season. If that, personally, I don't think we're seeing a season. I think this is going to be another 2004 debacle where we lose the entire season. And the way things keep shaping up, I have no hope for the NHL and the NHLPA. Decertification has been mentioned, and that is just not good for anybody. And the NHL, I've said there's never going to be NHL again, but let's be realistic, that's not going to happen. The owners need to make their money. There won't be any NHL this year. Whether there's one next year, I don't know. It's going to be a drastically changed NHL if there is. This lockout could go on forever. Now, yes, people are pissed at both sides. Let's face it, the owners are losing money, the players are losing money, the fans are losing everything. That's right. We're the fans. We should be able to do something, but we can't. Why? Because we're not owning the team. We're not playing the games. We're just the guys who give them the money to play the games. They're not listening to their fans. They don't care about their fans, let's be honest. They keep saying, oh, we love the fans. We're going to do everything for the fans. No, you're not. If you were doing everything for the fans, you'd be locked in a room with the doors barred shut, not allowed to come out until there was a deal on the table that both sides agree on. Gary Bettman's a fucking asshole. He's ruining hockey, and I don't care what anybody thinks about that. He's ruining hockey. Let's face it, he's had 3 lockouts in his tenure. He had one where we lost everything but 48 games of the season in 94. We lost an entire season in 2004, and we're losing an entire season in 2012. Like, it's ridiculous. This guy's a fucking moron. Get him out of there, owners. You know what? He said the last time, oh, this is the deal we want. This is perfect. This is what we're going to do. This is going to be a foolproof system. All of a sudden, we're back 8 years later in the same fucking spot we were 8 years ago with the fucking season on the line, cancelled again. And all you're doing is, well, we're going to get the best deal we're going to get. We're going to get everything we want. We're not going to let the players push us around. We're not going to let them do this. We're not going to let them do that. You know, I understand there's points of views for both sides, but this guy needs to fucking go. This guy's a moron. He knows nothing about hockey. He's a basketball guy. Sorry to all the basketball fans out there. But he's a basketball guy. He has no business being in the NHL. He's ruined the fucking game. He doesn't care about Canada. He doesn't care about Canadians. He just cares about himself because he doesn't even care about the owners. When the owners and players sat down last week, talks were good. You bring in Gary Bettman, you bring in Donald Fuhr, and boom! No fucking agreement. Nothing can be getting done. Let's face it, the two heads of this, Gary Bettman and Donald Fuhr, are ruining hockey for everyone right now. Yes, they both want the best deals for their prospective clients, but at what point do you say, you know what, we've given. We have to come to a middle ground. You know, they went 50-50 on the HRR, or hockey-related revenue, for those of you who don't know. They've got so much done, and yet nothing done, because they keep hitting these quote-unquote sticking points, and these sticking points are really stupid. They want 5-year cap on contracts. League players say, well, no, we don't want it. We don't want that. We want to be able to sign for like 7 years if we want. You know, and that's understandable. I think if you maybe cap it at 7-year contracts, I agree. Some of these ridiculous contracts are 14 and 15 years, and the last few years you're getting paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars as opposed to millions of dollars that you're getting, like what they're called front-loaded contracts to basically circumnavigate the salary cap. They're bullshit. Let's face it, they're bullshit. So I can see them capping contracts at 7, maybe 8, 9 years. Then there's the point about the CBA and the length of that. Owners wanted to be a 10-year CBA. Players said, no, we'll make it a 5-year CBA. Then they kind of jumbled around the 6 to 8 year mark. Like, honestly, you want 5, you want 10, boom, 7. There you go. That's right in the middle, right? 7, 8 years. Freaking, it's that fucking simple. On panels all over the freaking world, on TV, on the internet, people are able to friggin' work out this agreement, and you guys can't sit in a room for 5 hours and work through this bullshit? Like, you're fucking kidding me. We're losing the season over this? You guys are idiots. Gary Bettman, you're a fucking moron, and get out of hockey. Get somebody who knows hockey in there, and owners, kick him out. He's ruining the fucking game. Every time this contract comes up, he locks the players out. There hasn't been a strike in so long because Gary Bettman keeps locking the players out. So yeah, there's blame on both sides. You can blame the players. They've turned down stuff that sounded good. We don't know all the details. They only released some of it. But what the bottom line is, it's a lockout. This is the owners and Gary Bettman's decision to not play hockey. They keep saying, well, we're open 24/7. We're going to let the players come to us. They're the ones that need to come to us. You're the ones that did the fucking lockout. You want them to come to you? Bullshit. You go to them. You gotta bow to some of their needs. This is bullshit. I guess I just didn't have one rant to me. I had two. Gary Bettman needs to be gone, and this deal needs to be done. I'm tired of not having hockey. It is December. We should be having hockey right now. I shouldn't have to find stuff to watch. I'm not a basketball guy, and basketball doesn't do anything for me. I don't enjoy watching basketball. Yeah, I got football till February, but what am I going to do then? I got from February 1st-ish to April 1st-ish, nothing. And then baseball season starts. But no hockey. Can't watch my Leafs lose, you know. That's right, I'm a Leafs fan. You guys can bash me if you want. I'm a Leafs fan. And I just said I can't watch my Leafs lose. So, you know, I'm right there with you. I can't watch my Leafs play hockey, whether it's good hockey or bad hockey. I can't watch them play. Why? Because Gary Bettman's an asshole. That's why. Gary Bettman, you are a dick, and you need to leave the NHL. Gone. Okay, I'm just going to stop talking about Gary Bettman because, you know, that gets you worked up. I'm actually going to end the show right now. This is it for the first Warlock Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I definitely enjoyed myself, and we'll see how this goes. Might change things up every week. You never know how it's going to end up. I have somebody already expressing interest coming on the Warlock Wednesdays, and maybe we'll banter back and forth over sports because he's a big sports guy just as much as I am, and we definitely have differing views when it comes to football, that's for sure. So just going to wrap this up by saying don't forget Monday was Another Podcast. So you can download Another Podcast on anotherpodcast.com. Real Tuesday with James and OJ. Another Podcast is also with James and OJ. I don't know if OJ's there all the time. I've only listened to a few episodes. He was there most of them. So they're both there. Another Podcast on Another Monday. And Real Tuesday with real music from OJ and James. And then Warlock Wednesdays right here with Ray, or Razor, as I'm sometimes known as. But so go to anotherpodcast.com. That's EHNOTHER podcast.com. Another Podcast. Thank you for listening, and hope you have a great day and a great night.